Hello and welcome. You're watching UATV News with me, Ksenia Buhai. First, this hour, the latest developments from Ukraine. 16,218 COVID-19 cases were registered in Ukraine over the past day. The anti-record is fixed for the second day in a row. 2,069 people were hospitalized, 8,843 patients recovered, 192 died. Kyiv, Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia and Odessa regions have the largest number of new coronavirus cases. What to do first if you have tested positive for COVID-19? Is it necessary to take the antibiotics, do the X-ray or CT scans or not? These are main questions that worry patients. The first advice from doctors is don't panic. How to act in case of infection, our correspondent found out.
More than 16,000 cases of COVID-19 in Ukraine. This is the latest data. 2,069 people have been hospitalized. Over the year, the coronavirus theme has given rise to a plethora of myths and fakes, and this seriously affects the work of doctors who are fighting the pandemic. I urge you to use only verified information that comes from the Ministry of Health. The virus is not as bad as the pressure on healthcare system, Olga Golubovska, an infectious disease specialist, says.
Coronaviruses are very dangerous, especially coronaviruses that are circulating at the moment. There are 3 coronaviruses that have put the greatest strain on the healthcare system. They need instructions if suddenly something happens at night.
Olena confirms that the workload has increased significantly. She is a family doctor and is in touch with patients 24 hours, 7 days a week. She says that most of them have a mild form of the disease.
8 months have passed. Everyone was the most scared at the beginning. No one knew what to do. Well, now you understand that you have to be both a doctor and a psychologist and an advisor to calm down your patient.
Don't panic. This is perhaps the very first advice for the patient. If you think that you've contracted COVID-19, you shouldn't rush to the hospital, because there is a risk of spreading the virus, doctors say. Better make a call first and self-isolate until the diagnosis is confirmed.
If you do not have the opportunity to leave the apartment and live separately, then it is better to isolate yourself in a separate room. At the same time, hygiene is very important, as well as wet cleaning, and while staying at home, it is obligatory to wear a face mask.
If your COVID-19 diagnosis is confirmed, do not hurry to do a computer tomography. Mind that this is a large dose of radiation. It is used to see how badly the lungs are affected, doctors say.
Just count how many breaths you make in 1 minute. What is your heart rate? You can do all this at home, calmly.
Antibiotics are not a weapon against the coronavirus as well. They don't eliminate the infection but fight the consequences of the disease. The main advice of doctors is to wear face masks, keep a distance, and be sure to choose a family doctor. He is the main person in the algorithm of your actions in case of coronavirus infection. Reported by Vadim Kramer, Inna Mazurkevich, UATV News.
Only in a week, Ukrainians will get to know whether there would be a total lockdown or not. Deputy head of the Office of the President of Ukraine believes that the country should go through the 3rd weekend in quarantine, and only then will the result of the restrictions become clear. Kirill Tymoshenko noted that now it is too early to draw any conclusions.
We are trying to slow down the spread of coronavirus in order to stabilize the situation, as well as to increase the number of beds with oxygen supply and those provided with all necessary equipment. A lockdown is possible. We will know what to do after we pass the 3rd weekend in quarantine. Then we will make a decision.
Get tested for HIV and hepatitis. Ukraine has joined the International Testing Week. Health organizations say that it is timely diagnosis that helps in the fight against the pandemic of these diseases. Our correspondents will tell you more about the tests in Ukraine.
Хорошо протираем.
There you go, it will hurt a bit.
A few drops of the finger blood are taken for a quick HIV test. The result is provided almost immediately and anonymously.
15 minutes, it will ring, there will be a line, and that's it.
Family doctor Dmitrovsky Hirko explains. Once a year, everyone aged 15 to 60 has to undergo testing for antibodies to HIV. The doctor conducts pre-test counseling, fills in questionnaires, determines the risks of this pathology. He conducts testing, then conducts post-test counseling and, if necessary, addresses to other specialists, an infectious disease doctor or a dermatovenerology specialist. Experts counted that there are some 250,000 people living with HIV in Ukraine. About 40% of them are unaware of their status and do not receive assistance or refuse antiretroviral drugs. While this therapy allows people with a confirmed diagnosis to live fulfilling lives, this protection of one's body is especially important during epidemics, doctors say. Anyone who doesn't know their status, doesn't know their diagnosis, and accordingly doesn't take antiretroviral therapy certainly faces the risk of complications. One more disease that patients are often unaware of is hepatitis C.
3.6% have chronic hepatitis C. If we change these into absolute numbers, it turns out that more than 1 million are infected with hepatitis C, but only 87,000 are under medical supervision. It means that more than 1 million people simply do not know about their diagnosis.
Experts of the Center for Public Health stress that regular testing for hepatitis C is important, as this disease goes unnoticed and is often life-threatening. But with timely detection, it is effectively treated.
The state provides treatment of viral hepatitis at public expense that is absolutely free of charge for patients. I would like to emphasize that in general, this treatment lasts 3 months. It is an absolutely safe treatment, the side effects of which are rare, and most importantly, curability is about 95%.
Testing for HIV and hepatitis C in Ukraine is free. You can get tested at your hospital with a referral from your family doctor, at your local HIV center, or at private consulting room. Also, the test can be obtained from public organizations, including asking to send it by mail and conducting it yourself at home. Reported by Vadim Kromer, Yulia Kruchkova, UATV News.
Up next, an auction of unprecedented generosity or the Black Friday. Almost every store today attracts visitors with huge discounts. The tradition, which originated in the United States and is associated with Thanksgiving, has gained popularity in Ukraine. But are discounts as profitable in our stores as in the USA or Europe? Our correspondent will tell you about the peculiarities of Ukrainian Black Friday during the pandemic. This year, Black Friday started earlier than usual and lasted almost a week. Quarantine restrictions introduced changes to the traditional day of discounts. In general, Black Friday in Ukraine and Black Friday in the USA are two completely opposite concepts. Ukrainians know the difference, but how difficult it is to pass by the shopping mall when 50, 60 and even 70% discounts are looking at you.
This is how they attract new clients. Tatiana also couldn't miss the discounts today.
First, I saw that the price tag remained the same, but then at the cash register, I found out that there is a discount.
Weekend quarantine and restrictions during pandemic have radically changed the approach to organization of a discount day. In order to prevent people from crowding, sales with discounts began on Monday and will end today closer to midnight. Tatiana believes real discounts exist. One just needs to know where and how to find them.
For example, you see something that costs $35. Then, at the cash register, they will make you a discount in order to prove that no one is deceiving you.
Not all stores are honest with their customers, marketing experts say. The technology is simple. A few weeks before the start of the sale, prices are raised, and then the old one is returned, but under the guise of a discount. Ukrainians are familiar with the scheme, therefore they do not expect any miracle.
I haven't seen any big discounts I would like to get. Also, they said that there will be some upper discounts, but there is nothing like that.
Also, retailers often try to sell outdated goods. The main thing here is not to succumb to the so-called herd instinct and start buying everything. In such cases, it is important to keep receipts. In most cases, consumers make illogical purchases. It's not a problem. Just do not buy non-refundable category of goods. These are pedicures, scissors, gloves, socks, cosmetics, golden items. If you bought other products like appliances or outwear, that's not a problem. You have 14 days to return this item. Clothing, footwear, appliances and perfumery are the most popular categories of goods among Ukrainians during the Black Friday. However, according to a poll of the Postman agency, this year 64% of respondents refrain from shopping. Reported by Vadim Kramer, Inna Mazurkevich, UATV News.
Meanwhile, a march dedicated to Worldwide Fur-Free Day was held in the center of Kyiv. Organizers of the event call on people to restrain from buying fur clothes during Black Friday sales. Participants walked in front of the major fur stores on the central street. The Fur-Free Friday is an international event originating from the USA, starting from 1980s. Each year, activists call on people around the globe not to buy unnecessary stuff only because of Black Friday discounts.
В 12 країнах вже заборонено виробництво.
12 countries have already banned the production of fur coats and coat factories in general. However, this is still a reality for Ukraine. We want to pay everyone's attention to the fact that any fur coat means suffering. The animals suffered. They have been killed in gas cameras. They've been killed with electricity. Any fur coat means also suffering of a still living animal kept in terrible conditions. It's only done for some to show off. No fur coat is a warm, had a modern, high-quality winter jacket. 100,000 Dutch tulips to honor the victims of the 2013-2014 Euromaidan protests in Kyiv. Flowers were planted in the Independence Square and near Ukraine's Foreign Ministry building. The idea to commemorate the killed by planting flowers belongs to the Honorary Consul of Ukraine in Amsterdam. According to the diplomat, next year in April, a number of Dutch businessmen and investors will arrive to Kyiv. They will attend the Tulip Festival and hold meetings to discuss bilateral projects between Ukraine and the Netherlands.
So the name of the event will be the Ukrainian Dutch Tulip Festival, and we are going to gather on Maidan Square about 200-300 people for a special event, and it will be a lot of people from the Netherlands. So it will be politicians, it will be businessmen and entrepreneurs, investors.
It's 100,000 tulips, approximately 1,000 for a person killed during protests. Initiator of the action, the Honorary Consul of Ukraine in the Netherlands, a citizen of the Dutch Kingdom, says that he was inspired by the movie about Euromaidan protests in Ukraine.
That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. More updates on our official website, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages.